So this is a little bit of holiday time, so attendance is not that great. However, we'll start and continue the classes. One second, I am supposed to remove them. Yeah. Om Ajnanathimiranthasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunadhanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class. So we are done with the first chapter in the last session, and now we are starting this second chapter. So the theme for this session is put principles before pleasure. If you all remember, the last chapter was all about various reasons that Arjuna gave to not fight. So the connection between first chapter and second chapter is that first chapter, you know, everybody assembled, and then Arjuna asked Lord Krishna to bring the chariot in between the two warring armies. And there he, looking at the army of opponents, especially where he saw his own relatives, especially his teacher and his grandfather, his teacher Drona, his grandfather Bhishma. When he saw them, his heart was weakened, his will to fight is gone. He does not want to fight anymore. He was thinking, am I here to just, for this kingdom, am I supposed to kill my grandfather and my teacher? I have no will to do that. So he was overwhelmed with emotions. This is what happens in our life. Do not think that this is an exclusive situation here for Arjuna. Every time we face challenges about what is the right thing to do, um, we have to have certain considerations. That's what we are going to learn from these, first chapter and second chapter. How Arjuna dealt and how the knowledge that was given in Gita helped him to make the right call, right? Yeah, so Arjuna was confused looking at the situation. And then his chariot driver is Lord Krishna. He opens up and speaks to him. And he has spoken about 4 reasons why he does not want to fight. And the first reason was he was compassionate for all the soldiers, that they are all going to be killed in this fight. Why should I be participating in this fight? So he was showing his compassion. But unfortunately, this compassion is for the body, which is not, body. Krishna clarifies in this chapter from the next set of verses that this bodily compassion is temporary, right? Because body itself is temporary. He will clarify that real person is the soul, and whether you kill now or not, this body is eventually is going to be has to be given up. It's just matter of time that everyone will die and change their body. Body change is a must. For the sake of bodily change, one should not give up his duties. Krishna Arjuna as a Kshatriya, his primary duty is to protect the society. And here are you know people who are violating dharma, and it is his duty to protect the innocent. For the sake of protecting dharma, he has to fight. So that was the whole conception and understanding of body, which we'll study starting next class. Which are going to address primarily the soul, right? So Lord Krishna will speak about the characteristics of the soul. So that is how Krishna will answer the first argument of Arjuna. So this is one thing, a lot of times we see people show compassion. Do you all see? Do you all agree? If there is a war, there are people who would say we should not fight. Whether that who is right, how do we decide? That should be based on Bhagavad Gita, right? So knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll understand more as we study these chapters. Second reason Arjuna gave is no enjoyment. Why? So Arjuna's argument is generally a person, um, a, 1 second, I just want to close the door. Yeah, generally, people, whenever they have something joyful in their life, they want to celebrate with the family. But here, Arjuna is about to kill his own family men, his brothers, uncles, grandfather, teacher. So his argument is, who is there to show off or to really enjoy. When I win something, we generally share and enjoy with the close family. Now I'm going to kill them. My victory is going to be tainted by the blood of my own relatives. There is no real enjoyment in this. So that was his argument. So Lord Krishna's answer is this war. Do not think this is a war. This is a war of dharma. So when you become victorious or when you lose, there is no loss. When there is a dharma yuddha, if you get killed, you go to heaven. And because you upheld dharma and you become a righteous king, you will become an earthly king. So there is no real loss of enjoyment as you were considering, because you are ultimately you are setting up the right dharmic principles in this world. So you should not be considering your own personal enjoyment in this way. So that was the argument. So we'll go in depth in study when we study the verses. So that is that is the Krishna's answer. Then fear of sin. So his Arjuna's point is, I'm killing all these people, and so that killing one's own kinsman is a sin. That was the argument of Arjuna. And Krishna's answer is, no, you are not killing on your own account. You are doing it on my order, God's order. You know, for example, if a soldier kills the person at in a battle on the order of the on the order of prime minister, for example, if a soldier of India kills a soldier from Pakistan, In fact, he will be given Paramvir Chakra. He will not be punished. But if the same soldier uses the gun against his neighbor after he comes back to his home, then it is a sin. And he will be accordingly punished, even if it is killing of a single person, because he took the law into his hand. But when he did it on the account of the government, as a follower of the duty and on the order of his command, there is no sin for the soldier. Similarly, if you are acting to uphold the dharmic principles, there is no sin to you. That is the affirmative answer to Arjuna's, uh, you know, uh, doubt about whether I should fight, right? So the second reason is, actually, if you don't kill them, the sin will be upon you. Why? Because you are a Kshatriya, you're not upholding your dharma. Instead, you are letting these people who are Duryodhana, Dusasana, Shakuni, and Karna. So now these people will become the kings. Now you have seen before your own eyes, these people are very atrocious. They have not hesitated to, you know, even disrobe your wife before the assembly. So if these people were made the kings, imagine Yada Raja Tada Praja, they say, right? Imagine the world's course of action in the future. There is not going to be any dharmic principles followed in the world, because their own king was lusty and they can do any nonsense. So imagine how the world situation will be. If these people were led to become kings, they are going the whole country, the whole world will be destroyed, because there is no upholding of the right principles uh, of decency. So in fact, if they are not punished now, it will be disastrous for the world. And um, when these people were doing this nonsense, Vidura is a noble person, but just like Vidura spoke up in Draupadi disrobing incident, immediately he was shut down. He was not he was not given the voice. He was not given any importance. Secondly, Bhishma was silent. Even though he was watching, he was confused. What is the right thing to do? And Dhritarashtra, who is supposed to be the Chakravarti, he will keep quiet. He will not go against his children. So if these people were led to rule the country, the world situation will be disastrous. So you should, in fact, you are stopping the sin by killing them now in this fight if you can. So do not think that the actual sin will happen if you don't kill them. So that was the argument of Krishna. And because you are acting on my behalf, on my order, whatever actions you perform is devotional service. It's a devotional activity which is free of sin. So do not worry, go ahead and fight. What you are doing is right. You are killing aggressors who are very bad in behavior. By killing them, you are unburdening the world, right? In fact, even in the recent incidents of, there was a Delhi rape, and the prime minister of the country, Narendra Modi, he awarded capital punishment to the sinner. The reason is, when such activities are not condemned appropriately, people think, okay, I can go to jail and get away after some years. So, and in fact, that would save the person who has committed the sin. If they are not punished severely, through capital punishment, when they die, they will be punished very severely in the next life, in their, in the um, in the Narakaloka, or in the lower planets. Their punishment will be much severe. And if the king or the prime minister does not act appropriately and provide, and punish them with capital punishment, the king is also punishable. Okay, so it is the duty of the leader to actually uphold the dharma. It's not a choice. He cannot be, he cannot misplace his compassion wrongly. So it's appropriate for Arjuna to fight and you know get away these kind of very sinful people. Fourth, destruction of family tradition. So Arjuna spoke about how if all the members of the the head of the families die, there is going to be destruction of family tradition because people do not follow the principle. People learn from their elders and follow the the rituals or principles in life, religious principles. But if the elders are not there, we all learn from our parents, how to perform various, religious principles at home. That's how we learn, and then we pass it on to the next generation. That is the way family traditions, the spiritual culture propagates in a family or society, in a culture. But now, if all the men of the world are destroyed, who is going to be there, right? Krishna repeats the same. So he says, hey, by eliminating these wrongdoers, even if suppose all the elderly men were, not there, Yudhishthira Maharaj is going to be the king. If Yudhishthira is going to be the king, he is an upholder of dharma. He's going to make sure he's going to give sufficient protection to all the people of this world. If the family doesn't have a husband, no problem, because Yudhishthir is the safeguarder for everyone. Such a person should be the real king. If Duryodhana was there, he might exploit people. So it's better. In fact, the family traditions will be held, because if a dharmic person like Yudhishthira becomes the king, he will give sufficient protection for the entire world. So you become the role model. Your family, if you because you follow the dharma, Pandavas, you become the role model to prevent Varna Shankaras. So that was the argument of Krishna. So it makes complete sense, correct? So if the right person is at the helm, they're going to put the right principles and protect everyone. So these are the four reasons he gave. And finally, he spoke, uh, he was indecisive. And finally, so that indecision comes in the second chapter, in the initial first verses. And he puts down his bow and says, Krishna, I will not be able to fight this war. So that was the um, context for this, the connection between chapter 1 and chapter 2. So after speaking about his reasons for compassion, lack of enjoyment, fear of sinful reactions, destruction of family traditions, Arjuna will become indecisive and will not be willing to fight. So that was the final thing, will be coming in the current section now. We'll go read that. So understand that compassion. Do you all agree that compassion is a good quality? Anybody?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah. But sometimes when compassion is misplaced, when sometimes people show compassion, we suddenly start agreeing with them without really considering the full facts. So just because somebody showed compassion doesn't mean that they are correct. You see?
Mm.
See, all these principles, many people, we can clearly see that these are all religious principles that Arjuna spoke. Doesn't mean that they are right. It requires a lot of discrimination to really understand what is the right action. So it is taking us beyond general good guidance on actions. You see? So Bhagavad Gita is a very deep science. These are good arguments by a very religious person, Arjuna. Understand that Bhagavad Gita goes much deeper. So one should consider deeper wisdom to really understand what is the right action. Sometimes in newspaper we read, or there was a war and suddenly, you know, there are a, you know, there are a people, bunch of people who are, you know, proposing the idea of not doing the war. But really, you should understand what is, whether that compassion is correct or not, right? So we cannot just appreciate something based on face value. That is a key lesson we can learn from this. Otherwise, fear of sinful reaction, destruction of family tradition, showing compassion, these all appear very good qualities. But one level deeper you go, you understand actually that's misplaced compassion. That's misplaced reasoning about sin. Right? So Bhagavad Gita gives us the wisdom to go one level deep and really consider from the soul's perspective what's the right action for a person, right? So we'll go now. So Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 has 5 sections. The first section, so in this whole discussion in chapter 1, Lord Krishna, just like a physician, a patient comes to a physician first would let the patient speak about his situation, right? So similarly, Lord Krishna was just listening, lending his ears, and just wanted Arjuna to complete all his, you know, Arjuna had so much to say. He just let him speak. So finally, he speaks in this, final section 2.1 to 10, and then he was completely confused, and he will collapse, saying that I'm unable to make decision. I'm totally emotionally turbulent. He will drop his bow and surrenders to Krishna. So this is a big lesson for all of us, right? Even if you are very skillful, Arjuna is extremely skillful. There is no comparison. He is the world number one archer at the time. Even if you are extremely skillful in what you do, whether you are a computer scientist or a businessman, situations of the world can be very complicated, that can bring you to complete indecision. And what do we need at the time? We need the wisdom of Gita to guide us, to throw us wisdom of Gita and those who practice the wisdom of Gita. So that is going to help us to make the right choices in life. So here, Arjuna, instead of just taking any decision, he did the right thing by discussing this with Krishna, taking his input. Now he accepted. So whenever we are in confusion state, one should surrender to a teacher or a guru. So this is what exactly, when you are in indecision, Arjuna surrendered to Krishna and he got the guidance. So Krishna speaks about jnana, knowledge about the soul, in the first section, right? So he will speak about the fact that body can never be saved, and real person is the soul, and there is no death to the soul. So his initial compassion was, oh, I'm going to kill all the soldiers. Krishna clarifies that you're only performing your duty. You don't think it as an action of killing. It is your duty you are performing. You are a Kshatriya and you are upholder of Dharma. You are performing your duty, and there is no death to the real person, which is the soul. This body is like a coat. When coat is useless, we just change the coat. Similarly, when the body becomes weak and old or diseased, body gets changed and the soul acquires a new body. So whether it is old age or disease, it's a matter of time, the body gets changed. So Krishna clarifies that you should not give up your duty out of false compassion for the body. So that was the first section. He will, we go in depth about the characteristics of the soul. So it's a very powerful lesson we are going to study in the next week. Then Karma Kanda section. So 31 to 38 talks about Karma Kanda. So when one performs one's actions, he will gain material enjoyment. You have no reason to not fight, because if you become victorious, you will become earthly king. Or when you lose yourself, you die in this battle, because you fought war for dharma, you will go to heaven after winning the battle, after losing the battle. So either way, there is no loss. If you perform your duty, there is no loss. On the other hand, you show your material compassion and then surrender and just go. So in the next few verses, Arjuna says, I'm going to just surrender to these people and I will go to forest. I'll not live in this world, I'll go to forest. And then how would you live? I live by begging. That's what Arjuna says. Okay, Krishna clarifies first part. Okay, you go and tell them I'm going to give up the fight. Do you know what they'll think? What do you guys think? Anybody want to answer? If Arjuna goes to Kauravas like Duryodhana and say, so I don't want to kill you guys, you are my family, I'm going to go to forest. What do Kauravas think? Anybody want to answer?
They think that he's scared, or they think that he thinks that Kauravas are more powerful than him.
Absolutely, yeah. Nobody thinks, oh, Arjuna was so compassionate. They will think this guy is a coward. This guy is afraid looking at our army. And immediately he made a conclusion, oh, now I will go to forest, because he was really afraid. Nobody thinks nobody thinks about your noble qualities, Arjuna. Don't be in an illusion. You're an illusion. So come on and perform your duty. Good. And he's a Kshatriya by nature. And suppose he, as he said, if he continues, his future life by begging. Suppose Arjuna and other Pandavas, they become beggars. And he goes to a home and begs for something, and the householder doesn't give. Arjuna, your true nature will come. You will open your knife and cut their head, because you are Kshatriya. You cannot bow down to people like that. So don't show your false compassion. Don't think that you can give up your duty and become something else. That is duty of brahmanas, or you cannot become a beggar. That's not for you. So don't show false compassion. Yeah, and you are not a loser. By performing your duty, you would either win the kingdom or you go to heaven. So there is no real loss. The fourth thing, so Arjuna talked about sinful reactions. Krishna talks about Nishkama Karma Yoga. Nishkama Karma Yoga means when duty is performed with right knowledge, knowledge of the soul, knowledge of rightful action, dharmic action. The right action with the right knowledge results in no reaction. It's called akarma. Akarma means actions with no reactions. Even whether you work as a householder or a brahmachari, whatever, if you have the understanding, right understanding that you are a soul and God is the supreme Lord, and and everything is done as an offering to Him, as a service to Him, there is no reaction to any action you perform, which is dharmic action. Of course, you cannot perform one of the four that breaks four regulative principles. But other than that, you perform your office duties, or doesn't matter. There is no reaction to your actions. So he talks about Buddhi Yoga in this section from 39 to 53 verses. So you should not worry about the fruits of action. So Arjuna, you're worrying about fruits of action. Don't worry about it. You perform detached duty and there is no negative reaction to it. And then there is a whole section of Sthita Prajna. It's a very interesting section and what is Samadhi and the characteristics of a person who is a Sthita Prajna. So that will be discussed in the last section. So that's in overall. We are going to go section by section here. Yeah, so as you can see, Arjuna and Duryodhana, these are the main contenders here. For Duryodhana, the reason for his, why he is in the fight is he did not care for anything. All that he cared is he wanted to become unrivaled king. He doesn't want any enemies. He just want to become, by hook or crook, he want to be the unrivaled king. He's a complete materialistic person. So he is seeking pleasure in that way, right? Every jiva in this material world seeks pleasure. This is a gross materialist who is seeking pleasure to become unrivaled king at any cost, whether it means killing his brothers or killing his own family members, whatever. For him to become the king is the only goal that mattered, seeking his own selfish pleasure. Arjuna, on the other hand, he was dharmic, but he is also his current thinking is not really not really aligned at the soul level. It is dharmic, but it's not really pure. This is where most people get stuck. That's why this is the whole, this is so relevant, because many people may not be as gross as Duryodhan, but they can relate to what Arjuna's compassion is, Arjuna's fears are, right? So even though Arjuna is very dharmic, is very considerate, his considerations all are based on bodily attachment. He was showing false compassion for the dress, not the real person. If a person is drowning, if a rich person is drowning, right? And there is a great swimmer, if the swimmer goes and catches the coat that the person is, swimming with, and brings back the coat, that's not a big, that's not the right thing, or right, that's not the best thing. Coat may be costly, but the real person is still drowning. So one should really consider the real person. So similarly, in anything we do, we should consider the real person, the soul. We cannot just be making our decisions based on just the body. Second thing, lamenting for the outward gross body, not caring for the soul. So that's what Arjuna was doing. He was lamenting. And lamenting is a quality of Shudras. Shudra means they're always in lamenting. So you are showing these qualities of a Shudra. And then you are giving up your duty, which is painful without self-realization. Right? So Arjuna is indecisive and is almost giving up his duty as a protector, as a Kshatriya. Yeah. So main teaching here is that Krishna gives is that stick to your duty ordained in scriptures as ordered by God. Do not deviate. Yeah. So Sanjaya describes Krishna sees Arjuna lamenting like an ignorant man in response. So this is what the first verse is spoken by Sanjaya. So actually, let's read the verses quickly. Here it's not very clean. Can you all see the verses? Do you see Veda based verse? Please, can anyone say yes or no? Everyone is muted. Can anybody say if you are seeing the first verse of Bhagavad Gita here?
Yes, please.
Prabhuji.
Okay, good. So Sanjaya Uvacha, you can repeat with me.
Sanjaya Uvacha
Tam tata kripaya vishtam
Tam tata Kripaya Vishtam
ashrupurna kulekshanam
Ashrupurna Kuleshanam
vishidantam idam vakyam
Vishidantam Idam Vakyam
vacha madhusudana.
Uvacha Madhudana.
Hmm. So Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears. So, Ashrupurna Kulekshanam means Arjuna was like crying, full of tears. Madhusudana, Krishna, spoke the following words. Arjuna addresses Krishna as Madhusudana. Madhusudana means a person who killed the demon Madhu. Madhu represents doubt. Madhu represents doubt. And because Krishna is the killer of demon Madhu, and also he can kill the doubt in the mind of Arjuna. So Arjuna addressed, you know, in this way. Krishna spoke like this. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Kutastva Kashmalam Idam
Kutasva Kashmalam
Kashmalam
Idam
Idam
Vishame Samupastitam
Vishame Samupashtitam
Vishmasamupastitam
Anaryajustam Asvargyam
Anarya Jishtam Aswarnyam
Swambam
Kirtikaram Arjuna.
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Kirtikaram.
Yeah, please read.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjun, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy.
So here Arjuna was literally very confused, miserable in a way, and on top of it, Krishna is using words which are very negative. Okay, what did he say? How come impurities come upon you? How come such, kashmalam? Kashmalam means, dirty things. So how Arjuna? Who are you? You are born of such great family heritage. How come such impurities have entered your heart? Hmm? And you are speaking like Anarya. Anarya means Aryan. Aryan, the word, there is this Aryan invasion theory, if you heard about it. Aryans are civilized men. Civilized doesn't mean you wear nice shirt and pant and eat nicely. No, that's not civilized behavior. Those who are knowledgeable of the self, true self, the nature of the soul, God, and the relation between them, those are called Aryans. So Krishna addressed Arjuna as Anaryam, those who do not know the value of life. And because you are acting with dirtiness, I can see impurities in your heart, and your behavior is Anaryam. Your action, your false compassion, and all of this is Anaryan. Those people who do not really understand about the real value of life. And if you continue this behavior, showing false compassion and false understanding of true, duty, these will not lead to higher planets. Asvargyam. Swargam means you'll be able to go to Swargam, but Asvargyam means you are not eligible to go to Swarga. In fact, it will lead to infamy. Akirti Karamarjuna. Akirti Karamarjuna means your actions are going to cause infamy to you. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. Let's read if there is any more points here. Sanjay Vacha. Yeah, we already discussed this analogy. So compassion to the dress of a drowning man is senseless. Here you see, a person is protecting just the shirt, it doesn't help. Real compassion should be for the soul. So, and then the second section talks about jnana, right? Here you see a person when he is living, he looks so beautiful. The same person when after death doesn't look the same, beautiful. Even though the bodily composition is all same, nothing changed in the bodily composition, but still, there is no feeling, no thinking, no movement, no consciousness in the dead body, right? So the soul is the real self. If the soul is not there, there is no value to the body. Yeah, so this we read. Klaibhyam asma gamas pardha. Anyone?
Lebhyam masmagama partha.
Naitatchavi chai upapadyate.
Netattvai
Vai
upapadyate
upadyate.
Shudram hridaya daurbhalyam.
Shrudram
Ksudram
hridaya
hridayam
daurbalyam
balyam.
Chatvotishta parantapa.
Tvakotishta param tapa.
Yeah, please read, Shiva.
O
O
son
son
of
of
Partha.
Pritha.
Go ahead, go ahead. Thanks.
O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy.
So Krishna actually in this pose, he was slightly smiling. Krishna always smiles in his answers. And he would smilingly, like a pat on the back to Arjuna. He's saying, do not, yield to this degrading importance. Important is a very, very, like, not a very good word for a Kshatriya, Important, that's not a word that will be used against a valiant Kshatriya like Arjuna. That's insult in a way. Krishna is, just provoking Arjuna first, to see what he would say. Do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not. It's not supposed to be your nature. You're son of Pritha. You are coming of a great heritage. Your mother, begotten you, by the blessing of great king of heaven, Indra. You're coming in a great heritage, and I'm related to your mother's side. What are you talking? You are degrading our whole dynasty. It doesn't become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of enemy. Your weakness is simply false compassion. Don't yield to it. Don't fall for it. Yeah, so the common theme is Krishna called Arjuna as Anarjan. Anarjan means one who do not know the value of life. Like Arjuna was speaking about false compassion here. And such words are result of impurities in the heart, kashmalam. And then such impurities would lead to a behavior that is impotent, klaibhyam, third verse. And when klaibhyam overcomes a person, he will show weakness of heart, hridaya daurbhalyam. One doesn't know what is the right course of action. Yeah. So the practical application here from this second and third verses, we all can understand, contemplate on this. Finer sentiments like compassion, though very noble, are worthless if applied in an ignorant way. Having these good values is not enough. Understand where it is appropriate to apply is a very fine art. One should understand. And how do you know that? You know by studying the wisdom books like Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, you might always be confused. Oh, that person is also right. This person is also right. I don't know what is right. You see? So do not think that these just finer sentiments are always right. Being compassionate, one should be always compassionate. One should be always non-violent. No, actually, if violence has a place, punishment has a place. So we should understand where a particular quality should be applied. That's a very important discrimination one should develop, and we will develop by studying the wisdom of Gita. Yeah. So this we discussed. Aryan means one who knows the value of life, right? A civilization based on spiritual realization. This is Vedic civilization. In today's world, this is being ignored, right? So from the very childhood, one should be taught about the importance of spiritual values and importance of human life, and should be given some help in the direction of spiritual realization for all humans, right? So that is Vedic civilization. So in the whole Vedic civilization, the whole society was divided into the varnas and ashramas, everything such that one ultimately achieves the perfection of life towards the end of life. Everything is cultured around that. When Vedic culture degraded, greed and all of these negative qualities have overcome. See, so Anaryan. Yeah, so Anaryan means they do not know that the aim of life is to worship Vishnu and achieve perfection of life, right? They don't know what is liberation from material bondage, right? So this is the way most of the people are raised in today's world. Their education is only for getting a job and become employable. That's all. But real education is actually education in the spiritual values. But where is the education for it? In today's world, because people forgot their only goal is how I can survive, materially in this world. That's the only teachings given. So their concept of life is led by material conception. This is all because the leadership doesn't know what is the right thing, right? If the head of the government understands the importance of human life, he would do everything he can to actually establish spiritual culture in the society, in the schools, in every aspect of our life. So that was how Ramarajya was, where every person in the society were spiritually cultured. That's how even when Yudhishthira was ruling, the whole country was spiritual. But in today's world, in Kali Yuga, it's only some opportune places where you get opportunity. We are very fortunate. We are in touch with this the wisdom of Gita through the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. We are extremely fortunate. I'm telling these, nobody outside will teach these values, right? So we are very fortunate for that. Yeah. So what is Anaryan action from Arjuna? Arjuna, although he is a Kshatriya by definition is protector of dharma. He is deviating from the prescribed duties by declining to fight. He should have, stood his ground and continued to fight, but he did not. That was his Anarya. That's the reason Krishna called him as Anaryan. So as soon as one becomes Anaryan, just like Dhritarashtra, why Dhritarashtra got bad name? If he stood for dharma, he should have punished his own son right at the early age when he was showing the wrong symptoms of envy and desire to kill Pandavas. They were there from his very childhood. But Dhritarashtra was attached to his sons. That led. So there was a story of a mother. A child was raised, by a mother, and the child was, from his very childhood, he was, for example, he was stealing other, in the school, he was, stealing the books and pens from his classmates. His mother thought, okay, why punish the child, let him, he's very young. And mother would keep silent. Later on, when he continued these habits, started stealing from his neighbors, a little bit here and there, small things. And mother would always remain silent, I don't want to punish my child for this, like that. And later on, he became one day he became a big robber of banks. And one day he was arrested for life. At that time, before he was put in the jail to protect the society from him, he requests the police officer, can I go see my mother one last time? So he was brought to the attention of his mother. Mother was crying, and he goes to the mother, looks at her face, and gives a big slap on the face. The mother was shocked, and he responded why he did that action. Mother, when I was stealing the chalk pieces and the books from school, if you have corrected me at the time, I would not be such a robber. I thought it is okay to do whatever I did. Because you did not correct me, I thought what I'm doing is right. And I continued on that forever. So now I lost my whole life. Now I'm behind the bars. And your false attachment is the core reason for my current state. So this is exactly what Dhritarashtra did. He had so many chances to correct his own sons, but his own attachment to his sons and his own attachment to ruling the country by his sons, he was always silent, watching all the bad actions against Pandavas, in silence. Yeah. So Arjuna will become. So now, if Arjuna, after all of this, if Arjuna doesn't fight, Arjuna will become infamous in the present, and then not be awarded residence in the higher planets at death. Therefore, Krishna does not approve of Arjuna's compassion. Akirtikaram. If Arjuna did not fight, he will only get Akirti. Yeah. So impurities are not expected of a person like Arjuna, who is born in Aryan family. So Arjuna is called, Klaibyam, important by Krishna, because he is intimate friend of Krishna. and he's directly guided by him, what is the need for fear? Why is he acting like important person? And that all led to Hridaya Dhaurpalyam, right? Yeah. So here is a key point. Krishna says Shodram. Shodram means showing qualities of ignorance, mode of ignorance. Mode of ignorance. If a person is primarily in the mode of ignorance, their qualities are lamentation and delusion. Okay, so that's what Arjuna is going through right now. He is crying, his eyes are full of tears, and he was in a delusion that he will give up fight and go to forest. And Krishna actually refers to Arjuna as Parantapa in this verse. Parantapa means chastiser of enemies. Punish the enemies and give them right lessons. And in this verse, Krishna is referred as Bhagavan. We already studied this. Krishna is referred to Bhagavan by definition means one who is possessor of 6 opulences, right? So, Ete Chamsa Bhagavatam, first canto, 3rd chapter, 28th verse talks about, speaks about this verse. Ete Chamsa Kala Pumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, right? While all the incarnations are either portions or portions of portions, Krishna is the original source of all incarnations, including Rama, Narsimha, Vamana, Parasuram, Buddha. All incarnations are expansions of the original incarnation of Krishna. And Brahma Samhita also states the same, right? Govindam Adipurusham. He is the original source of all existence. He is the source of all incarnations, all existence. Right? Yeah. So everyone is attracted to people who have these 6 opulences in minute qualities. Right? Somebody is attracted to beauty, right? Somebody is attracted to wealth. We appreciate in this world people who are wealthy, who are very beautiful, who are very, very knowledgeable, who are very, very famous, right? Who are very, very strong, or who are very, very renounced. Sannyasis also are appreciated. So Bhagavan means one who has all these in full. So that's why if we are attracted to even one quality in one person, right? In this world we see generally a person has only one of these qualities in higher degree than others. Like a person like Elon Musk is known for his wealth. Or some woman is known for her beauty in the world, right? Somebody is known for his strength. So each person only exhibits one quality, even then, again for temporary time. It's not like a person is going to be beautiful forever, right? When they become old, they're going to lose. And the person is not going to be wealthy forever. It's just matter of time. Within few decades, somebody else will overcome. In this way, nobody is going to, even if a person has any of this one quality for a short time, they become very famous. Now, what to speak of Krishna? He has, he is the most beautiful, he is the owner of, he is the Lakshmipati, right? He is not Karodpati, he is not Lakpati, he is Lakshmipati. The source of all wealth, Lakshmi. He is is the husband of Mother Lakshmi. And he is the most knowledgeable, most famous, most strong, and the most renounced of all. He never claimed to be the king, or he was always in support role everywhere. So he is the most renounced also. Just definition of Bhagavan, the word Bhagavan is used. Yeah. Continue this. Yeah. So just like the reflection indicates that the real object must exist elsewhere, so in this world we see a spark of beauty in a person. a spark of wealth in a person, a spark of fame in a person, again for a short time. But the reality exists elsewhere, right? So this world is like a mirror reflection of the real truth. You see here, if a tree is standing on the bank of a river, its reflection is on the water. Suppose this is a mango tree, you appear to see some mango here, right? But if you try to find the mango in the water, you will never find it. Reason is, it is not a reality, it's a reflection. So similarly, in this world, we see famous people, beautiful people, they're like spark that indicates that reality is elsewhere. The real tree is on the shore. Similarly, the real opulences are actually in the spiritual world. This material world only has some sparks of those, opulences, right? So the real opulences are in the spiritual world. Yeah, you can see 6 opulences are possessed by Lord Krishna. So here he is washing the feet of Sudama Vipra, right? So Lord Krishna, even though he is the greatest of all, you can see how renounced he is. He would be ready to. Jiva is a minute particle of his own expansion, but he is ready to come down to that position. Even as a chariot driver, can you imagine Krishna becomes a chariot driver in a war? If a war is fought, the people who become victorious, they become the most famous, not the one who is driving the chariot. Even though he is the main person in the entire battle, he just took the position of a chariot driver, of his own devotee, and ready to, take the foot hits of Arjuna. Arjuna would kick Krishna, go left, go right, because he's so busy, throwing the arrows. He has no time to, talk to Krishna. He's just move his leg and just focus on the target. So that is renunciation of Lord. We studied this. So in the 10th chapter, this verse comes: know that all opulent, beautiful, and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So everything that is glorious in this world is just a small, particle of the greatness of Lord. Yeah. 4th verse. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Vacha
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhye
Katham
Katham
Bhishmam
Aham
Bhishmam
Sankhe
Sankhye
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Dronam
Dronam
cha
Madhusudana
Madhusudana
Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami
Ishubhi
Ishubhi
Pratayutsami
Swami
Pujarva Arisudana.
Pujarha
Pujara
Arisudana.
Varisudana.
Yeah, this is a very important verse. Can anybody read?
Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship?
So now he's countering directly. Bhishma and Drona, they are worthy of my worship. One is my teacher. I have learned whatever I know is I learned from him. I should be worshipping their feet. And Bhishma has taken care of me from my childhood, protected me in every situation. I should be worshipping their feet. How can I attack with arrows? People like this, which is very reasonable, right? People never want to kill their own grandfather or a teacher. Yeah. But unfortunately, what is the main reason why it is appropriate even to fight them and kill them? From all the discussion we had so far, anybody want to say what is the wrong thing with Bhishma and Arjuna, Bhishma and Drona? Anyone?
One thing is Bhishma, by not reacting while Draupadi was like disrobed,
Mhm.
he was supporting adharma.
Mm.
That's one thing I can think of.
Mm. Good, very
And
good.
even Drona was in the Sabha as well, so it applies to him as well.
Mm.
Because they are the elders, they are the eldermost people. They could have stopped it and supported Dharma.
Yep. The other simple reason is now the war is happening. They know clearly who is right, who is wrong. It's not like it's not like surprise. Clearly Kauravas were trying to cheat the land of Pandavas very clearly. Pandavas were the rightful kings because it coming from their father, who is supposed to be the king if he was alive. Ideally, they should be the king, but they are on the wrong side. Both of them are on the wrong side. The whole reason Bhishma fought on the side of Kauravas was to show to the world that Bhishma is a great devotee, but Krishna, wanted him to teach through his life that even if you are the greatest person with the best qualities, but if you are on the wrong side, you will be punished. You are wrong. So just to teach that if you are on the wrong side, on the adharmic side, you will be punished. Yeah, so according to scripture of Dharma, not respecting those worthy of worship is a cause of bondage, right? So this is how the Shastras confuse. One scripture says like this. Yeah. If 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 Bhishma and others attack, why should you attack them? Right? Is this not the rule for the Kshatriyas to fight? Since there is the rule in battle, one should not turn from battle when challenged. So one should fight when they were challenged. Kauravas put the challenge forward. Yeah. So this is the confusion for Arjuna. So as a Kshatriya, I should be fighting, but these are worshipable, right? So, but the Krishna's reasoning is, okay, now you don't let them, now don't fight them and save them. Tomorrow they will take over the kingdom. These guys will continue the atrocities that they were doing before. They will disrobe people and they are the kings. Nobody can question them. And and Vidra will be silent. Bhishma would be silent. No, Vidra would speak, but nobody cares. Bhishma would keep silent, and Drona will keep silent, and this will continue, and the whole civilization will be destroyed. That reason that we already heard. And indirectly, Arjuna is asking, "Hey, Krishna, would you fight with your own grandfather Ugrasena or teacher Sandipan Muni? So if it comes to you, do you fight it?" So in a way, uh, you know, Arjuna is challenging Krishna. How can I kill my teacher, my father? Would you fight with your own? You killed demons. So many demons you killed, but killing demons is different from killing your own teacher or father or grandfather. Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't fight, Krishna asks, would you live by begging? You cannot live by begging because you're a Kshatriya. You would immediately attack them. Yeah. So this is next verse that talks about begging. Gurun ahatva hi mahanubhavan
Gurun ahatva hi mahanubhavam
Shreyo bhuktum bhaiksham apiha loke
Shreyo
Shreyo
bhaktum
bhuktam
bhaksham
bhaikshyam apita
aptaloke.
loke
Hatvardha kamams tu gurun ihaiva
Hatvartha
Atvarta
kasmamstu
kamas
guru
guru ihaiva
ihaiva.
bhunjiya bhogan rudira pradigdhan.
Bhundiya bhogan rudhira pratignan.
Gurun ahatvahi mahanubhavan means these great souls, Guru, how can I kill them? Mahanubhav, how can I, kill them? Yeah, please read this translation. Keshav, can you read? You're muted. Or Anindita, can you read?
Sure, Prabhuji. It would be better to live in the world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly again, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood.
So he became very weak, when he faced his own teacher. Of course, it's an emotional turmoil to fight against one's own teacher. Yeah. So if I kill my own teacher, whatever I enjoy will be tainted with the blood of my teacher. So at no cost, lives of great souls shouldn't be taken. That was his argument. Yeah.
Prabhuji, one question. So, Dronacharya was the teacher for both Pandava and Kauravas, right? So, why he was more aligned towards Kauravas than Pandavas?
Because from the very beginning, the salary was paid by Kauravas, the Kuru dynasty, the ruling king right now. So because he was maintained all this along, right? Some generally people consider that as a very prime factor in their decision. Whoever is paying me, I will be supporting, irrespective of whether they are right or wrong. Isn't it? People consider
Yeah,
that
Prabhuji.
reason. So that is the reason for why suddenly if Drona goes against Pandavas, or in favor of Pandavas and against Kauravas, Kauravas would call them, this guy, for all this time he ate from us, now he is turning against us. So just that, general consideration, for that general consideration, both Bhishma and Drona, they were, by duty, they felt that, they are bound to support Kauravas.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So we already discussed this. Ardhasastra says aggressors should be killed. Aggressors means, those who, set fire to the home or killed by poison or attempts to do kill through poison. And all the, Kauravas are aggressors because they actually did all of these things. And Ardhasastra says you can kill such people. But Dharmasastra says, if one should not kill one's own family men at any cost, even if they do wrong. So the both shastras are conflicting in this particular situation. So that's the reason for Arjuna's confusion. Yeah. So a teacher is fit to be abandoned if he engages in abominable action, has lost the sense of discrimination. Example, Bhishma and Drona taking the side of Duryodhana because of his financial assistance. Yeah. Arjuna prefers forgiveness because of the unique kind of aggressors, that is seniors and relatives. He has a unique situation in here. Here, real aggressors are Kauravas, but by participating on their side, even he had to fight with his own teacher and grandfather. Yeah. So that's the first 5 verses. We are already 120 at 120 now. We'll continue next verses. I wanted to hear from everyone. Do you have any questions, first of all? Anyone? Anything you want to discuss?
One question, Prabhuji.
Mhm.
So, Arjuna was broken, and if you see, as a normal human being, if we are talking to someone who's broken, we generally try to console the person first, right?
Mhm.
When Krishna started talking, it was to some extent like Krishna was on the point. All were great verses, but it was to some extent it was hard, right? So imagine if I'm broken and I'm hearing all those things, probably I'll get broken more, right? So, so what is your perspective on this project?
Yeah. So Arjuna, Krishna deals with him very carefully, actually, slowly, step by step, in an interactive. He doesn't just, throw some commandments, hey, you should do this, you should not do this, like that. The whole discussion was a very conversational. You will see that, he, gives bite by bite wisdom. In about a span of 2.5 hours, he speaks the entire Bhagavad Gita in 700 verses. So we will see that, in the upcoming sections. Even though Arjuna was very distressed and stressed out, actually, because knowledge has that power, and he's able to take it because he needed that guidance. He surrendered. So at one point, he surrendered to Krishna. Says, I am indecisive. I need your guidance. Otherwise, I cannot move ahead. I need you to speak and guide me. So when Arjuna was open, so it's very, it's very relevant for all of us. When we are like that, we all will face situations like this where we don't know what is the right course of action. We have to take the right, step to take the guidance. And, um, if we don't, then we will continue to suffer, when Arjuna became fertile to hear, in the whole first chapter, he was not ready for it. But in the second chapter, he became indecisive and just collapses. Then Krishna starts speaking.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anything else? Hare Krishna Gayatri, thank you for joining today. So Gayatri has joined us. She, she came to Seattle recently, and she'll be, continuing the classes. So, similar to, Rachna, who started also recently. Yeah. So when we meet in person in January, you can meet others. Any other questions? And what do you all think? Should we continue next week or the next to next week online like this, or do you want to have a break and we'll resume in January? Can you all, if you want a break, thumbs up, or if something, green or red, I want to hear from all. Can you say one way or the other? We will do online because
Prabhuji, I'm okay with continuing online, but I don't know how many people are gonna attend.
Yeah, there is also
Prabhuji, we
Amaral.
have Narendra Prabhu coming here for next 2 weeks, so I'm not sure how many are attending his classes, but it's going to be busy the whole week.
Yeah. So one more thing is there is Amarendra Prabhu visiting me coming from Monday.
Oh, Haribol.
Yeah. So at least from, if not every day, you should try to, attend whatever you can on weekends, especially. So it will be evening classes and also some morning classes as well. So Yeah, even that is there. Yeah, actually, given that, it might be better to just keep it open so that everybody can open that.
Yeah, next week, likely he will be in Sankirtan Saturday. So if all of us can join, that would be great.
Okay. Sankirtan would be in the afternoon. Morning he has a class, by the way. Morning also he has a class. Yeah. So anybody else want to say anything? I heard from two.
I can attend, Prabhuji.
Okay. Sanal Prabhu, K. Prabhu,
I can attend too, Prabhu.
Namrata, Rachna, Keshav.
I'm at home in Florida till January, so I won't be able to attend, unfortunately.
Keshav,
I'll join online.
you'll do it online. Okay.
Me too, Prabhuji.
Mm.
I'll be online.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I think many of you are online, but we'll just take the vote, in case if any change of, consideration comes, we'll cancel the class next week. And the week after, I would give a break. Just for one more week we can do, okay, before the break. And I hope, everybody will resume. I want to see more of you by January, I'm only seeing 10 people right now. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.